What's up, YouTube? So I want to come through again and talk about the Jahleel Addae situation. There has been some more information that has come out since the Cheers to Light Skinned Kids video has surfaced. And before I begin, I want to give a shout out to Paris Milan and her research team for uncovering these tweets and this information because pretty much what I'm going to be talking about is from her video. All right. And I just want to say, like, y'all don't want no smoke with black social media. All right. Especially black female social media. All right. They will uncover the dirt. All right. Um, but let's get into this. All right. So Jahleel Addae, he did not initiate the toast. All right. Based on, you know, the research that was done. He did not initiate the toast, which honestly I never thought that he did. I never thought that he initiated the toast, but he did toast to it, you know. And I think that's where some people's anger stems from, you know. The person who actually initiated the toast was his financial advisor, a dark-skinned black man who's married to a white wife, or who has a white wife. And I'll say, I really felt like this moment that happened, it probably, well, it should have stayed private, honestly. Everything ain't for everybody. And sometimes some people don't understand the dynamics of your situation and they'll make, assumptions and conclusions. So honestly, I just think that, Jahleel Addae's wife shouldn't have posted this video. She did feel a bit like really comfortable to post this video. A little strange. You know, how did white people react to the video? I'm pretty sure white people probably just ignored it. Usually white people, especially white men, write off white women who are with black men anyway. So they just, usually, not all the time, but a lot of times they do, So probably they just ignored it, especially because she's not really like anyone who's famous or of any like significant social standing, you know. Also, something I want to speak on, you know, some people, particularly black men, some black men, were saying that Jahleel is a foreign black person, a foreign black man, so he doesn't represent them. All right. Pretty much trying to disassociate themselves with him and say that basically, oh, that's them foreign black people, right? Really? Well, you know, y'all remember when Issa Rae got dragged for, you know, saying that black women should date Asian men, even though she was saying that sarcastically and, in her book. And also, that was from like years ago, and they just dug it up too. Well, when that whole situation happened, no one brought up the fact that Issa Rae, sorry, wrong, wrong Rae there. Issa Rae is Native African. Issa Rae, I believe, is Senegalese. She was raised in the United States, I believe, um, but she is she's like Native African origin, right? That never got brought up. It's like no one was saying like, oh, she's just a foreign black woman. Just don't even pay attention to her. No, they were using her to represent all black women. All right. And again, that was a joke, but folks ran with it. And also, let's not act like we don't already have more than enough receipts on dark-skinned men and colorism throughout the entire diaspora. All right, let's not act like this is some isolated incident that happened. Come on. we all see the pattern. We all see the pattern, okay? And also, if this Negro was doing something positive, like say, buying YouTube or the Weather Channel, these same dudes would be using him to represent them. Like, oh, look at what black men are doing. Yeah, we black kings, this, that, and the third, right? So shut up and suffer. All right, shut up and just suffer. All right, next. A few people got in their feelings because I said if I was there in the situation and the toast came up, that I would take it as a joke and laugh. Kill yourself. All right? Why are you mad or sad about this situation to begin with? Honestly, especially if you're a black woman, especially if you're a brown skinned, dark skinned black woman. Why the hell are you sad about a situation like this? Why are you mad about a situation like this? Why are you in your feelings about a situation like this? Like, cancel these Negroes. Write these Negroes off. Laugh at these Negroes. Laugh at the self-hate that they exhibit. I don't know why I laugh. I really don't know what's up with black women sometimes. Like some black women, want to be Superman-y for some reason. Captain Pick-me, Miss Matriarchal Mule for some reason. They for some reason feel like tasking themselves with the duty and obligation of single-handedly protecting and upholding blackness, the black community, and black men. And to be fair, the community does sort of push that primarily on black women. So again, it's not entirely their fault because the community does set it up to lead black women to do shit like that. But when the fuck you gonna wake up though? That's what I'm kind of wondering. Like, when the fuck are you just gonna wake up? Because honestly, I think in situations like this, there's like a sunken place that I think a lot of these black women are in. Like, these Negroes or this community got these women in the sunken place. All right. But let me just break it down for you. And I'm probably going to end up doing a whole video about the mammy, pick me, mule, baby mama, ride or die chick agenda that's going on in the black community. I probably am going to end up doing a video about that. But let me break this down for you. All right. It ain't your job to nurture and instill self-esteem and self-worth in the collective of black men. All right. That ain't your job, because they don't take it upon themselves to do that shit for you. All right. These niggas ain't your sons, especially when these Negroes don't do that shit for you. All right. This is how you get played again and again and again. Let Rebecca, let Selena, let Kim Woo, and black men worry about that shit. You just worry about you. Worry about you and yours, right? If this is your actual son, okay, you should be instilling those sort of qualities in him, and also encouraging him to pursue black women exclusively. All right. And again, I think that's sort of something that comes up too, where it's like, I think black women are being socialized to be race first, race loyal, and, very much community minded, very pro-black, right? They're being nurtured to be pro-black and socialized to be pro-black, while black men seemingly somehow are being nurtured to be a bit more like on some multicultural shit. If you really pick up on that, notice that. Just think about that for a minute. All right. Then when you call it out, when black women call it out, is it's going to be pushback, right? So again, just worry about you and worry about yours, specifically yours, like the children that you birth, all right, the black men that you birth. But like I said, I'm probably going to end up doing a whole entire video exploring and analyzing mammies, pick-me mules, baby mamas, and ride or die chicks, all right, at one point or another. All right, but let's continue. The black community, I believe, is way quicker to throw away an undesirable dark-skinned black woman than an undesirable dark-skinned black man. Why is that? If you notice, right, the community hesitates for some reason when it comes to these black men perpetuating anti-blackness, right, engaging in, colorism, just wilding out, being wild ass coons on the loose. There's hesitation to throw them away. We see that when it comes to, like, again, the whole Stephon Clark situation, right? But like I said, let Stephon Clark had been Stephanie Clark, we would have just written off Stephanie as just being a bed wench that got what the fuck she deserved. Let's be real. Especially all those anti-black tweets. If Stephanie was saying, "Oh, dark niggas bring dark days," boy, no. Black men and the pick me mammy mule, black women would have been like, "Nah, no, we can't support that." And hell no, right? All right. But with all that being said, let me get into these tweets. All right. Let me go into these tweets. All right. So the first tweet, he said that there should be no Black History Month. He's on seemingly sound like he might be on some multicultural shit. All right. I'm not sure why this bothered him, other than him being on some all-inclusive multicultural shit. Like, oh, we're all the same. There's no difference in skin tone or race and skin tone. We shouldn't worry about that stuff, right? And I think he quoted Morgan Freeman, who also said something similar, and was like, Black history is American history, which it is, of course, but I think it deserves to be highlighted, right? And also, we are in Black History Month too, by the way. Interesting. As well, we all know how these history books go and our history classes go. Usually, our Black history is pretty much overlooked outside of slavery and the civil rights movement and Martin Luther King Jr. That's pretty much all you're gonna get, right? They show as hell ain't gonna tell you about the Jim Crow era or the Reconstruction era or Malcolm X or Marcus Garvey, the Black Panthers. No, they're not going to be telling your ass about that shit. You got to find out that shit on your own. All right, let's see. The next tweet he said he posted was, "My light-skinned mini-me has his mom's wide eyes," I believe. And I thought this one was kind of cute, But I think some people may have been offended and triggered because Jahleel mentioned skin tone, right? And I think some people may have taken it as, okay, you're just celebrating your son's skin tone. Why couldn't your son just be your mini-me and just keep it at that versus your light-skinned mini-me? Again, we know Black people are sensitive when it comes to skin tone in children, right? And there are valid reasons to be sensitive, especially if you as a Black person as a child have gone through something where adults were making distinctions and treating children differently based on their phenotype. Okay, so I would say, okay, that the people who are triggered perhaps are coming from those experiences, partially at least. But, I will throw out a hypothetical situation, okay, just to see how things would go. All right, hypothetically, right? I don't have kids, but hypothetically, if I had a dark skinned son and I was like, oh, my dark skin mini me, you know, he's always making me proud, and I tweeted that or, said that in a video. Would people be the audience that I have as YouTube, would you guys be offended if I said something like that? It's not disparaging, but like if I said, oh, my dark skinned mini me, he's always making me proud. He's always doing something awesome. He's always impressing me. Or, something like that. Would you find that offensive? Would you be like, well, why did you have to mention skin tone? Why couldn't he just be your mini me? Right? Just putting it out there, just wondering. All right. Also, I feel like this probably would have been a bigger issue if he had a daughter and he said something along the lines of, my light-skinned princess, she's so beautiful, or something like that. I think that really would have triggered some people right there. Um, let's see. So the next tweet, all right. Um, this is where things kind of really go left here, all right. So the next tweet, he referred to his two roommates, who I believe are dark-skinned brothers, as quote unquote tar babies. I'm like, this really is a case of the pot calling the kettle black. All right, this really is the case of that. Like, really, you calling somebody a tar baby? Like, where? How? I don't understand that part. Maybe he doesn't associate himself with being like dark skin. Maybe he's like on some multicultural, I'm beyond skin tone shit. But then again, if you're on some multicultural shit, shouldn't you just be all inclusive? You know? So I don't really know where this whole, tar babies insult came from. So it seems like he may have some animosity towards black men with dark skin tones, at least if they're acting a certain way. So, that kind of gets me to thinking, well, what are his opinions about, black women with his phenotype or a similar phenotype? A valid question, a legitimate question to ask. All right. Next, the next tweet, he referred to a person's skin tone who insulted his dreads. So this person insulted his dreads, saying like they look like mopped up mustard. I don't know. So he referred as an insult, a clapback, right? He referred to that person's skin tone. I believe it was a man. He referred to that man's skin tone as navy black, crunchy black. He was like talking about, this dude got navy black, crunchy black skin tone, right? And to me, I'm like, well, like, does this Negro not own a mirror? Does this Negro really not own a mirror? Does he not have a rear view mirror in his car? You know, you know, does he not have stainless steel appliances? Has he ever seen his reflection in a window? You know, where are these like insults coming from? Because really, honestly, were if you saw these tweets out of context, you probably would think they were coming from perhaps someone of a lighter skin tone. You know, you wouldn't. I don't think you would automatically jump to the conclusion that these were coming from a dark skinned person. Person, you know, I don't think so. All right. And an honorable mention to this tweet, there was also a tweet about somebody in his class saying, white folks smell like wet dog. And he was, quote unquote, dead, right? But I'm going to let his fiance and the white community deal with that one. Like, we got enough problems, all right? We can't be taking on other folks' problems, too. They can deal with that. And also, apparently, his wife didn't mind because she's with him and she's getting to that money, all right? So she'll smell like wet dog, and as long as he's tolerating it, everything's good in the hood. All right. So those were the tweets. All right. So I'm just gonna put this out here and just, get what you just put this out here and see what you guys think. All right. This is off topic a bit, well, a lot, but I'm just gonna say it. So, do you think that he and his fiance make a good couple? Just wondering. You know, the blackest of the black men with the whitest of the white woman or women. A lot of times, that's the dynamic of interracial relationships when it comes to like black men in interracial relationships. A lot of times, for some reason, almost like this like extreme opposites attract situation for some reason. um, but yeah, I just find that something interesting to note too. So I've read off the tweets, of course. So what do you guys think of those tweets? Do you think they were just like jokes? He's just joking. Because, sometimes folks just make jokes, right? About folks' skin tones. Did you think that they were perhaps rooted in anti-blackness or colorism? You think he's a coon-ass Negro on the loose? What do you think? And next I'm going to read off a couple of comments. I'm going to try and wrap this up here. I'm going to read off a couple of comments from the previous video that I posted about this situation. A couple of comments from dark-skinned black men. All right. One dark-skinned black man posted the following in response to the Cheers to Light-Skinned Children situation. Quote unquote, the main thing is they need to stop trying to so-called sneak diss black women, because that's exactly what their plot is. So do you think that toast was them trying to, sneak diss black women, diss black women on the low? You think that was the purpose of the toast? All right. Next, and this one's a bit long, but I'm gonna read it. All right. Next comment, quote unquote. So Jahleel had some anti-black statements on social media. He called people crusty, black, and tar babies. So for Jahleel to usher in a quote unquote new wave of light-skinned people, it would be to our collective detriment. Why? Not because they're light-skinned, but because he lives in an anti-black colorist household that will teach his children to value proximity to whiteness the same way he does. Now we'll have a whole generation of light-skinned / biracial kids who already have a systemic advantage over dark-skinned folk who harbor intense internalized anti-blackness, and for this we cannot be congratulatory. We have to be worried. Secondly, we have to stop looking at these situations as isolated incidents. It is obvious Jahleel is self-hating. But it's because we live in a colorist society that has long told him his features are not valuable. This is how colorism is maintained and upheld in black spaces. So yes, dark-skinned people are sensitive, but are we going to deny our collective sensitivity because it makes light-skinned people feel a little uncomfortable? Why is our feelings always being policed in a way we can never express how colorism has affected us? The sight of light-skinned children being valued over dark-skinned children is a familiar experience to dark-skinned people, and this public gesture was a perpetuation of that. And it is a rightfully that we got his ass together. And I think it takes privilege to say we're too sensitive when this sort of ideology doesn't directly affect you. Well, to go on record, I never bashed dark-skinned people for being sensitive. I don't think this was directed at me. I don't think, just want to clear some things up just in case some folks feeling some type of a way about this. All right. I never bashed dark-skinned people for being sensitive about this. I actually said that I understand where dark-skinned people are coming from, and also said some light-skinned people may not understand where dark-skinned people are coming from, you know, because perhaps they just never experienced that sort of a thing. All right. Just want to clear that up. All right. Next, even if it was a joke calling someone quote unquote black as fuck, and quote unquote roach, and quote unquote burnt are jokes too, but that doesn't mean it isn't rooted in anti-blackness and colorism. And I think this may partially be directed at me, because I said that I would have perhaps taken it as a joke, right? And I think that is valid. Just because it's a joke may not mean that it's not rooted in anti-blackness or colorism, which I did say that there is truth in jest and that there's a little truth in some jokes. So I did acknowledge that, not specifically rooted in anti-blackness, but I acknowledge that with the jokes there are some truth in it. Next, light-skinned people aren't going away, and so aren't dark-skinned folk. So we don't need to congratulate anybody who desires a specific skin tone in their child, especially if they're having a cheers because they harbor internalized anti-blackness. So that was the end of the comment, and that comment came from a dark-skinned man. And I agree. A lot of people agree with this comment. A lot of people thumbs up this comment. And I don't think that dark-skinned people are going anywhere anytime soon anyway. And as well, I really don't think anybody wants to see dark-skinned people go anywhere anytime soon, including these white supremacist folks. I don't think they want to see dark-skinned people go away either. As far as the police brutality situation is concerned, that's just, to me, I take that as fear tactics, perhaps, or fear, like them trying to instill fear in black folks, and also possibly population control. What I think folks want to see happen to dark-skinned people, are black people in general, white people who are white supremacists. I just think they want it, to go back to the good old days, quote unquote, the South will rise again. Right? Back when America was great again, or great, all right? Basically, have slavery reinstituted, chattel slavery reinstituted. And as well, I don't think that light-skinned people are going anywhere, as well. Dark-skinned people, again, they have there's like a ton of dark-skinned people in the world. Dark-skinned black people in the world. There's like a ton of them in Africa, in the Caribbean, as well as like dispersed throughout the diaspora as well, But I think some dark-skinned people, when situations like this come up, kind of feel like they may be sort of phased out in some sort of a way. Perhaps not phased out of existence, but phased out of perhaps certain aspects of society. And that's a legitimate concern to have. And as far as light-skinned folks are concerned, I think sometimes some light-skinned folks get in their feelings about perhaps people wanting to promote black people of a certain skin tone, particularly darker skinned black folks, right? and sort of like implying or just explicitly stating that this is how a black person should look, right? Um, and they probably get in their feelings because they were told that they were black, and like, hey, and also sometimes they do DNA tests. It comes out like majority black in some people's cases, right? Um, so sometimes they're kind of in their feelings about that. But overall, there's room for both of us. It doesn't have to be one or the other. There'll be some problems, there'll be some misunderstandings, but we can work them out. All right, we can work through them. We can work them out. All right, it doesn't have to be one or the other. But I'm going to wrap this video up. But I just want to say that I'm not out to bash dark-skinned people or brown-skinned people. I'm not out to get them. I'm not out to do brown-skinned or dark-skinned folks any harm. All right. I'm here for brown-skinned and dark-skinned people. All right. And also, just be happy with the blessing that you got as far as your children are concerned. Okay. Just be happy and satisfied with the blessing you have. Because at the end of the day, skin tone is just skin deep. At the end of the day, it really is. I think we do place a lot of value, unfortunately, and we place a lot on skin tone for some reason, especially in the black community. And of course, we all are aware of our history, so it's not entirely our fault, right? But we do have to work to deal with those issues that we go through based on skin tone. And when situations come up like these, like this, we have to have the conversation. We have to talk about it. We can't just sweep it under the rug and pretend like it's not an issue. All right, like some people like to do. Let's be real. But again, thank you very much for watching. Sorry for going on for so long, but thanks for bearing with me. And let me know what you guys think in the comments section. Definitely. Until the next video, adios and goodbye for now.